Hi guys, and welcome to this new video. This is a video I do every year, and it says the Premier League prediction, the longer awaited video that I needed to make. Obviously I was waiting for the fixtures to come out, then take a couple of days to, just process why things gonna happen, bearing in mind what's happened so far with the transfer window, and just have a think about it before I actually make this video, and just to be happy and just make my final prediction. So I've set my final prediction. This is how I feel like the Premier League's gonna go this season. Will I be right? Will I be wrong? We'll find out at the end, but this is just based on what I know. So starting in 20th position, we have Fulham, which the badge is gonna pop. I'm gonna try and put it this side. So yeah, Fulham in number 20th position. Yeah, obviously they are the playoff winners. They beat Brentford 2-0. Joe Bryan with 2 goals. They have a very young manager in Scott Parker, who obviously used to be a former player of theirs. So they've got a very young manager who will give some spirit to the team. But other than that, they haven't really made any improvements to their team. So they're still carrying over the same team championships to the Prem, which may be a disadvantage to them, and they may get exposed. They've made Knockout, who was on loan at Fulham last year. They made his loan permanent. They've also got Mikel Seri back, who, when they were in the Premier League the season before last, he was not great. I remember him scoring one wonder goal, but he was not great and got sent to Galatasaray, I think it was. And now he's back, so maybe he can go improve himself. But there was the one major signing from Fulham of Robinson, who I know nearly joined AC Milan, I think in the winter, or was it last summer? So he nearly joined AC Milan. And they got him for cheap because I think he came from Wigan, and Wigan got relegated, so they got him for a cheaper price. So yeah, as I've said, Fulham will get 20th. Moving on to 19th, another promoted team West Brom. Another promoted team, West Brom finishing 19th. They have a young manager. They don't have a young manager. They have a manager in, obviously, Slaven Bilic, obviously used to be the manager of West Ham. He got them automatic promotion this season. They haven't really made any major improvements to the squad. They made the loan move of Matheus Pereira permanent. He was very good for them last season. I don't know what I think it was a Portuguese team that they made it permanent, but they've signed him permanently now for I think around about 10 mil. And they've let Nathan Ferguson, one of their young talents, one of their young defenders, go to Crystal Palace for free. So it's a bit, they should have really tied him down, or at least got some sort of fee for him, maybe signed a 2-year contract and then sell him there, but they've let him go for free, which could be very bad for them. Going in 18th place, I've put Aston Villa. I've just made it really simple. If you're wondering why I keep looking, I've got my notes. Aston Villa, I think they're going to get relegated. It's that time. They just about survived last year, and if it weren't for Grealish and Trezeguet towards the end, they wouldn't have survived. The one obviously vital result, them getting the 1-0 win over us. We didn't really look like we were in the game, and they just took their chance. They really could have finished 0-0, but Villa took their chance and they got the goal. But yeah, they're going to finish at 18. I think they'll get relegated. They haven't really improved their squad. They're still lacking a goal scorer in terms of Wesley's still injured. I don't know when he's going to come back. Samata hasn't really done the job. Grealish is carrying that team. And I feel like if Villa get relegated this season, then Grealish will leave, because he can't be bouncing up and down like a yo-yo at Villa. So he'll move on to a much more stable, bigger team. In 17th place, I've gone with West Ham. Their squad is not worthy of 17th place, but they're just one of those teams who, even though they have a good squad and they have quality, such as Felipe Anderson, Declan Rice, Fornals, these type of players who are very good players. But it's just the fact that the manager, David Moyes, is not making everything work. Yes, Antonio was great towards the end of the season, but that was towards the end of the season when they were survive the fight relegation themselves. I think there'll be another relegation fight. Their team, they have a good squad, but just Moyes just hasn't made them click. They have made a signing in Souček, who is not a new player because he was there on loan. He scored the goal against Chelsea, and they've made that permanent. So, yeah, West Ham, I think we'll finish 17th. In 16th place, I've gone with Crystal Palace. This is a very short one, really. They've obviously signed the defender from West Brom, who I mentioned earlier, but other than that, they haven't really improved their squad. Zaha wants to leave, but I don't know who's going to buy him. And I think nobody buys him. Obviously, he'll stay for the season. And I think he'll carry them to a Premier League safety again. And I know the experienced players from Palace will be important to them as well. Like obviously Gary Cahill, Milivojevic, and etc. We all know the Palace team and we all know who they have. In 15th place, I'm going with Newcastle. Obviously, they've been through a lot of madness this summer, or just in general recently, thinking they will get taken over the Premier League, not allowing the takeover to happen. And then, yeah, they're not really strengthened. They've signed Hendricks for free. That's about it. Their team was not great. They had obviously some specific players who did really well. I know who I mean by that is Saint-Maximin, who did really well. But other than that, yeah, there really isn't anyone. I mean, the Joelinton, we all know how crap he's been this season. He only got 2 goals in the whole season, 1 in the Prem. Good goal in the Prem, but yeah, but I generally think that with Saint-Maximin creating the same amount of chances or more, and Almiron, I think Joelinton will have a better season. I think those 3 will be enough for Newcastle to stay up. In 14th place, I've got Southampton. That just simple reasons. Danny Ings last year was on fire. He was one of the best. He was top goal scorers in the league. He finished joint second with Aubameyang. So yeah, he's had a very good season, and he can carry the form on in a Southampton team that may not create as many chances as other teams. He scored a lot of goals for himself, and obviously they did well last year to come back from losing 9-0 to obviously finishing in a decent place. I mean, they did beat Leicester as well at their ground, so that was a very big result for them as well. They've also made the loan move of Kyle Walker-Peters permanent. That was in the result of letting Spurs sign Højbjerg, which we'll get into more detail later. And yeah, Kyle Walker-Peters was really playing well for them as well. They've also signed Salisu from the La Liga, he was a very good defender in the La Liga. I know a couple of teams in the La Liga were after him as well for getting around. Madrid and Barcelona were looking around him. So for Southampton to get him is very good. I don't think for that much, and he's young as well, so he can just improve, and you know, Southampton could be looking at making a lot of profit from him. In 13th place, I've put Brighton. They've made 2 major signings in terms of Lallana, Veltman, who are obviously very experienced players. They're not the youngest, but they're very experienced. Lallana just winning the league and won the Champions League before, and Veltman playing in the Champions League for many years with Ajax. And they've got even with Veltman, they've got a very strong defence in Dunk and Ben White, who's obviously on loan at Leeds and really impressed, and looks like he'll be a very good player for Brighton going forward. That's if they manage to keep him. And obviously also Brighton have Trossard, who had a semi-decent first season. First couple of games he's good, but he was very impactful, but now he's starting to get his foot in. And Mopé, who scored a decent amount of goals for Brighton in his first season. So good answer in terms of that level. In 12th, I have put Burnley. They haven't really improved their squad, but we all know about Burnley. They have a solid, foundation in their squad. You know what they're like. I mean, they've got Pope, who was one of the best goalies last year. Tarkowski, who's normally solid. McNeil is very young and he's kind of different to the other Burnley players, but he can create. And obviously, the strikers of Ashley Barnes, Chris Wood, and Rodriguez, they can, do things as well, as we've seen. Obviously, they've got Sean Dyche as well, experienced managers, been in the Premier League for a long time now, but with Burnley. And yeah, they're just one of those teams that they're just stable. They'll just stay there. And mid-table is 12th, around that area. In 11th, we have the champions of the championship, Leeds. They're going to do, I think, in my opinion, the best out of the newly promoted teams. They have a really decent team consisting of, obviously, Calvin Phillips. They had Ben White last year, who they are linked with, and they're trying to get permanent, but it doesn't look like Brighton want to sell. So they've got Click, Hernandez, who have been really good for them, and they loaned back Jack Harrison. Also, the goalie from Leeds has left, so they've signed a goalie to replace, and they made Howard Acosta's move permanent. So they've made a lot of moves, maybe not all new players, but just making loan moves permanent, losing the loans, getting loans back, replacing players who left. So yeah, they're looking good for 11th. I think with Bielsa as well, he's a good manager. He plays a 3 at the back, and I think they'll get the job done. They press high. They've got that energy. They're a good team, as I've seen this season, because we played them in the FA Cup, and it was even though we won, it was a very hard game to play. So I reckon that Leeds are going to cause a lot of teams problems. I'm going to go through this quickly because my camera's running out of battery. So Everton's have finished 10th. They've got a great manager in Ancelotti, but their team's very underperforming. They haven't really made any improvements. They've got Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Well, those are their two main players. Sigurdsson hasn't been consistent enough this season, and they spent 40 million on Iwobi. So that so far is just not good. Maybe Ancelotti will get something out of them that they haven't been able to recently, but whether that happens is yet to see. In 10th, Everton. In 9th, I'm going to go with Sheffield United. They've got a decent manager. In Chris Wilder, they overachieved last year massively. They didn't think they would do so well in contention for a European place. They didn't get it in the end, but they were very good. They're definitely the surprise package of the season. They've brought in Aaron Ramsdale to replace Dean Henderson. But other than that, they haven't really made any improvements. So I think the season will go similar to how we did this season. That will definitely be above mid-table. In 8th, I've put Wolves. They haven't made any signings. They got into the Europa League quarterfinals and lost to Sevilla. Not the greatest result for them. Other than the first half, they weren't great. They had most of the possession. Sevilla had most of the possession, and they were just dominant on the ball. But in Wolves, they also have a decent manager. They have a decent squad with Traoré, Jimenez, and they'll go again. I think they'll finish 8th, but they could easily get Europa League for sure. So at 8th, I'm going to go with Wolves. In 7th, I'm going to go with Leicester. Again, another team that hasn't signed many players any players this year. Madsen signed a new contract, so that's a big positive for them. But other than that, they were in contention for Champions League last year, bottled it right at the end, lost a lot of games, lost a lot of points, and that cost them. I think they need more experience in that team, a bit more quality, but other than that Leicester team's a very good team. They've got a decent manager, Brendan Rodgers, and they're going to finish 7th. In 6th, I'm going to go with Tottenham. They've signed Joe Hart, who's not going to play really, and Højbjerg, who is he really that good? So they're going to stick pretty much the same squad. They've lost Vertonghen, so they're probably just going to play Sanchez and Alderweireld. But I still think they need improvements in their defence. Hopefully they don't get those improvements, obviously. But they need improvements in their defence. It's not great. Even though someone like Mourinho, a defensive manager, is not getting the best defensively out of this team. And they got the players attacking going forward, but defensively they're very shaky. So Spurs to finish 6th. Fifth, I've got Man United again. No signings. Really want Sancho, but they don't really want anybody else, which that's gonna hinder them as well. They need defenders. Maguire's rubbish. Their defense is rubbish. We've seen it in the Europa League semi-final against Sevilla. Again, Maguire in a bit of trouble recently on his holidays. Lindelof saving the day, which is different. But yeah, they've got attacking talent going forward. I don't know why they're wasting all their money on Sancho, but I'll let them do them. But they really need a defence, really. We've got Pogba playing, that signed Bruno in January week, who's been really good. Their attack is okay, but yeah, I can see, maybe we can understand why they want Sancho, but there's more issues other places. So in fifth, I've gone with Man United. Fourth, I've gone with Chelsea. They've got very scary attack looking forward for next season, with the signings of Havertz, Werner, and Ziyech, whilst also the addition of Pulisic, who's starting to, get his feet in the Premier League. Chelsea have got a good team going forward, but defensively they're not great. They're looking to sign Chilwell. They'll improve their left, and they might get Thiago Silva on free for 1 or 2 years. That'll give them experience and some leadership, but what Thiago Silva will really give them in 1 or 2 years might not be enough for what Chelsea want to do, but we'll see. So in fourth place, I've gone with Chelsea. In third place, I've gone with Arsenal. Things over there at Arsenal are looking good. Arteta knows what he's doing. He's got a plan. We're still attracting names, even though in the Europa League, that's just the size of the club Arsenal are. Edu's working hard, Arteta's working hard, and yeah, it's looking like it's paying off. Arsenal signed Willian, and then looking to sign Gabriel, and getting Aouar or Party, which is just fixing areas that the squad that need to be fixed. And Arteta, even very short period, came into a broken team. He's already won a trophy. He's lifted everyone. Everyone believes in what he wants to do, and I feel like Arsenal would definitely get into the Champions League this season. So in third place, the best of the rest in terms of the top two are just miles above, is Arsenal. In second place, I went with Man City. I was contemplating putting them first, but with that defence, they're not getting nowhere near first. They've signed Nathan Ake and Ferran Torres, who won't improve them as much as the improvements they need. Obviously, will they sign more players? Probably, most likely going to sign more players, but they need a lot of change. They've lost David Silva. Aguero's still injured. I feel like with Aguero, they're not at their best. Jesus is good, but he's just not there yet. And if they want to close the gap on Liverpool, they need to improve their defence. You saw what happened to them in the Champions League. So yeah, it looks like more of the same if they don't really massively improve that defence. So top team I haven't mentioned yet, team that I think will win the league again, Liverpool. They haven't strengthened their starting 11. They don't need to. The thing that was missing with that Liverpool team is depth, and they're getting depth. They've got in the new left back to back up Robertson, and they're looking like they're gonna get Thiago, who will replace Gino Wijnaldum. Gino Wijnaldum's obviously been a good player for Liverpool, but Thiago's on another level of the midfielders that they have at Liverpool. So it's a very good addition to their team. They've already got the great players that they have there. And your Van Dijks, your Mane, Salahs, Firminos. We all know about them. And I feel like they're gonna be motivated again. I feel like Champions League will be big for them this year. Obviously, the disappointment against Atletico Madrid, but they're gonna want rectify that mistake. They don't want to go out so early again, and they're gonna be motivated for the Premier League. They don't want to. Obviously, they won it last year, first time in a long time, but they want to keep that streak going and make sure they're not waiting a long time again to win another title. So yeah, to confirm first place for Liverpool. So just to go over the main parts of the prediction, the relegated teams will be Fulham, West Brom and Villa, and the teams to make the Champions League will be Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea. So if you enjoyed this prediction for 2020-21 Premier League season, make sure you like, subscribe, Stick around for the channel for more predictions, reviews, more content around the Premier League, more content around Arsenal. And yeah, like, subscribe. Peace.